bringing them here safely. I ask you, Heavenly Father, to give us wisdom and insight into those needs of not only our county, but the constituents of what they are asking us to do, and give us wise advice. I pray, Lord, for all of those who are involved in wanting peace in our world. And I pray, Lord, right now, if you will watch over the people in Colorado that were injured and burned unnecessarily by terrorists. And I ask that we pray, give them up and hope for healing, and healing for our country and healing for our world. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Well, before the approval of the agenda, I was going to just say without objection, I left it on here just because I didn't want it just to go away. But the Millersville MOU, which is item B, it's kind of a moot point now, and even though it's not in the packet, there's no MOU to discuss. I didn't want to just to have it go away without being on here for a second, just in case anybody had questions. So if that's okay, I'm going to pull that one off of there, and then I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Approval of the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Recognition of the public. We've got Ms. Kathy Arlen. And anybody else who'd like to speak, welcome to speak to if you haven't signed up. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Arlen. I live at 231 Chipaway Drive in Gallatin. I'm here to speak about animal control. I know as of the last meeting, our hope of an ad hoc committee was squashed. But I do want to bring up everybody's attention things that have transpired in the last, since that last meeting. During the meetings subsequent to this, we've been told that all animals, 100% of animals are going out spay neutered. We already have a case of that not being the case. We were also told that inmates do not interact with the general public, and I have another situation where that was not the case. So, and I have a letter back from Captain McCoy where he sort of stated how that was, but I just want to go on record as saying that these 100% of things are not true. 2 Saturdays ago, on the 23rd, we received a visit from a Gallatin policeman who came in with a dog who told us that animal control would not take it. So they brought it to Safe Place for Animals. That's the first. And at 3 p.m., we received a visit from somebody with an emaciated dog who had gone to animal control with it. They had found it on the side of the road and found out that there was nobody there at 3 o'clock to open the door, or at least they didn't open the door. So just wanted to put that out there. We also advised Sheriff Paddock that that had happened. So don't know what happened on the 23rd, but there was nobody there. And we took the dog in, which is probably a good thing. We probably saved the dog's life, but just wanted everybody to be aware of some of the things that we have been told are not actually happening. So we will continue to watch and report and let everybody know when our expectations are not met.
Everybody okay on public comment? This is okay. I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Before the chairman, I just want to say I really do appreciate the citizens just coming forward and speaking on that, and I know that we have discussed this before, and Sheriff Pratt's been very open, and he said just please contact him. So I hope that continues to happen, and we'll continue to bring any awareness to that, because I hope these are just one-offs, and I think the only way to continue in good movement forward of anything is just to continue to bring and shed light on things like that. So I appreciate everybody's input on that, whether it be on this issue or anything else. And so please never ever hesitate coming forward, speaking up, because that's the only way that things happen. And so I appreciate it so much. And then also, that's all. That ends my report. And for the report of the county mayor, the mayor actually was kind enough to give me he has no report for the committee, and he also shared with me, which we'll share when we get to the appropriate time. But and I handed it out all the calls for service listen to phone calls for the ECC this time. And so report the sheriff. Yes, please. Would you mind coming forward if there's any reports?
Oh,
I can't see.
yeah. I don't really have anything here with the jail administrator Scott over the issue on the agenda with the health risk assessment, mental health risk assessment. As far as what was brought up, like I said, when you said you'll be love for you to come down and give us the details, and we'd be glad to conduct an investigation and find out what went wrong. I don't know. None of those are reported to me, so I don't know anything about those specific complaints.
I appreciate it, sir. Okay. Does anyone ever have any questions for him?
I'll listen to you. So,
You don't mind saying one second?
no, it's for you. It's okay. You can go
Thanks, sir.
Mr. Chairman, when I closed the ad hoc committee, it was my vision and kind of what we all kind of accepted was that these issues would be handled as a report of the chairman in his sheriff's report, knowing that he did make the statement that the citizens should reach out to him and he would try to satisfy them, rectify the situation before it even has to come to committee. What I'd like to see it come to is that citizens try that path, and when it doesn't get resolved within the month's time, then it comes to committee so that we know that there is an issue that hasn't been resolved. That's, I think, when it becomes this committee's business, when it's an unresolved issue that they went through the channel that the sheriff asked it to go through, and it's still not resolved. So I would, while the citizen was speaking, I was hoping that the sheriff's report would address these things, because it gives, she made a statement, made some, claims of things that happened. I don't doubt that those aren't true. I know Miss Arlen, she comes with facts and keeps good records. But I was hoping the sheriff would have the last word in that to explain these things. Is it possible to address these things in the form of an email between now and next meeting, to where you could just ask these 3 instances and ask for Sheriff Craddock's response? That'll also give him time to respond to the citizen, and maybe things can be rectified outside of committee, and we get those answers before waiting until next month.
Yes.
Is that possible?
I love it, because I was already going to reach out. I just wasn't going to say anything about it. Yeah,
Okay, and I'm saying this just so the sheriff knows too, so the citizens know too, that that's the way I envision this going. And if they're not already doing it, maybe they are, but they'll start doing it that way.
Back, and I won't address the crowd, but if I could have the notes, just so I have the details, I can give those passes along to the sheriff, if that would be okay with the citizen. If I could, she could email me that. So,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, so report of EMA. I didn't speak, and normally I try to reach out, but I didn't reach out today, so it's just as much my fault as anything. I wanted to make sure there wasn't a report, but I don't believe it's a report for EMA. Report of EMS, we did get sent an email, a report from Chief Cost, and we have that. If
Is that the one that came in through email?
That did come in.
Okay.
And so, just basically, if y'all have it on your, it's the same one that we normally get. And does anyone have any questions on that? I haven't got it. I looked over it just a little bit, but I didn't have time to really.
I saw it come out at 4:30. I don't know what it is.
But it's got the reports, and all the normal reports. Okay, so we'll end that, and then report of the ECC. We've got the total amount that will be submitted for the records, for the minutes. The phone calls, and that will be in there also. And then
I got a question, Mr. Chairman.
yes,
Is there a theme going on here where nobody's coming to the committee meetings anymore? Because that doesn't allow the public to ask questions that I didn't have any, but for everybody to miss the same week, I just wondered if there's something going on that you're aware of, where
I'm not aware, but
everybody's vacation at the same time, maybe?
I'm not aware, but I just would assume that I'm assuming that, positive intent, I'm assuming that it's probably just vacationing and things like that going on, of that nature. But, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm guilty today because I didn't call over the weekend, which I didn't want to, but I didn't call today, which is what I like to call. So I don't want to place any blame on anybody other than myself on that.
So we can expect possibly next month to pick
I
up.
would assume.
Okay. Thank you.
They normally everybody reaches out, at least by email, even if they're so, and there depends on that. Old business, I don't believe there's any old business, but new business, we've got the inmate classification MOU with TDOC, Sumner County Jail, and Mr. Strout, would you mind coming up here, and I'll entertain your motion to suspend the rules that are pertaining to that.
Actually, we didn't get a motion to get it on the floor, but then we suspend the rules.
You know what? That's correct. Okay,
I was asking.
I make a motion for discussion.
Second.
Okay, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And then now make a motion, we suspend the rules pertaining to that. Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Would you mind just the high points? I read through the MOU.
I will, and
Okay.
any questions you have,
Thank
but
you.
essentially, TCA 41 is a new TCA within the last year that requires felony inmates who are sentenced to receive what's called RNA, or risk needs assessment. The state uses strong R product. We've been resistant to that because it comes with a cost, and we don't like that. So they approached us with some free licensing and free training in such a way that we can train certain staff members to perform this with a license. It's called Strong R, and we can move people faster. The hindrance, two things. One thing, if we don't do it, state's backed up, and that means our state prisoners have to stay with us longer. I can tell you that I received a report today that our average age of population is 811 now. When I got here 4 years ago, it was about 14. So we're trying to maximize our space, and so they can't get good credits. They can't go prove. There's certain things they can't do until the strong R happens.
4 years ago, it was 1,400.
So about 400.
If
I could do the other, I'd be a miracle worker.
It's over.
COVID.
I got you.
Yeah, about 410. COVID had us around 410 when I arrived, and so we're back to 811. We built a jail because we had 900, so you can see where we're at. So I support it. I've looked at any catch clauses. It's got a clause that we can move out whenever we want to. I was very resistant, but I support it now. Strong R is a good product. I was familiar with it in Memphis, and the state's been using it for a lot of years. It's really just to say, this guy's here, he's got these problems, how should we direct him? Whether we direct him anywhere or not, it's just a pathway for them when they get to prison.
So would you explain that just in a practical sense a little bit, just because, just without dealing with it every day, is something.
It's an intake classification process. You come in jail, okay, you don't have a high school diploma. The first thing we're going to put you is toward an education path. You might be here for anger-related or drug-related issues, so we'll find different paths. Sober recovery, Narcotics Anonymous, MRT, which is a made-up word. It's moral recognition therapy, so it's cognitive behavior. And so it just sends you on these different pathways. Some while you're in jail we can accomplish, others we can't, but when you get to prison, you've already got the strong R assessment done, and it directs you toward the right treatment, because 95% of these people are coming back to Sumner County. And we want to come back with a high school diploma or anger management classes and those kinds of things.
So even like, I guess it goes even more treatment out, like sexual offender, violent offender,
It does.
things like that we hope to
Right.
rehabilitate.
In the county jail, we don't do too much with the sex offenders, except we'll get them qualified before they leave, but we try not to keep those guys. They just can't do anything in our jail as per state law and also as per our personal preference.
Can I ask, I know there's a question that come up, what's the cost that's gonna be associated? I know that right now there's some aid, but what's the future cost?
There's no cost. If they move off the MOU, so we're not gonna do it. I don't believe in, that's why we're here. I don't believe in unfunded mandates. And so when they propose that they absorb all the costs and the energy, we're good. We've got the staff in place. They're already doing assessments on other offenders, so this staff will just multiply their workforce and do strong arm.
That's very helpful, and just, if you don't mind asking this last question, you kind of hit on it, make sure. So, the reason you were against it was because it's gonna be more of a cost and a burden, but now it's kind of somewhat mitigated. I'm sure there can be some still burden, but.
There's a cost associated with it. I think it's $20 per one we did, and some training that we had to go to. And so now they're going to absorb all that cost. The MOU says free to us.
Okay.
That one license will run our whole agency. Now we won't put everyone. We might put 8 or 10 people and get them trained up and ready to go. They're going to come to us and train. We like to be first, so we don't want Wilson County to beat us to the punch. So we're ready to get it done. We need to do it for the people of Sumner County, because when these folks come back, they're probably going to move them beside me, but they're going to move them somewhere. So.
Very helpful. Does anyone have any questions about that? Yes.
So similar to a needs assessment.
It's exactly called a risk needs assessment, RNA.
Needs assessment. So when they come into the jail, there's immediately a needs assessment done based on all of their background, kind of like what I do in psychiatry and psychiatric whatever. So when that happens, things are set up. I know that you guys have mental health there for code. And the question I had about it is that the training. So when the folks get the training to do the needs assessment, who manages over that as far as what they're putting down and what they're looking at?
If you dig deeper into the MOU, you'll see that the state's going to place an audit on 5% of the files, and there'll be a manager for that. So if we turn in 100, they're going to go ahead and look at 5 of them, randomly selected by their program. And this is a layperson's tool. It's not a practitioner's tool. And I've got a lot of experience.
Will it be your deputies doing these assessments?
It will be our staff, yes. Yeah, the corrections officers that are intimately informed about these kinds of things. Layperson's tool, though.
And so there's not like for me.
No, they're not making decisions. They're just gathering information and then handing it off to be directed to the right services.
That's very helpful.
So, I was just going to have a comment. I guess, kind of, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's kind of like a triage, if you will. Sumner County will triage before TDOC gets them.
That's true.
They'll know what kind of inmate they're getting, their charges. Obviously, they have judgment papers, but it just triages them in the classification of, okay, we've had this person, now here they come to you.
It fast tracks them into their system,
I want, based on what he just said, so you already have the judgment from what they were convicted of, and you see their history, they have raps and things like that. What more can somebody assessing you gather?
A lot.
Like how you behave within this first 30 days in the jail, or 60 days, or 90 days, or is that what it's based on?
We'll do this when a felon enters our system. We're just going to do it when they get there. So they might not be convicted yet. We're going to do it when the felon, it's required when they're convicted. But I see us catching them at the front door. And if they've been here 30 days and haven't made bond, let's assess them.
because one thing we know is an education helps. So if they're acquitted or otherwise, the high school diploma would be something we could go ahead and start on in the Sumner County Jail. Anger management is something we could go ahead and start on. We've got, our programming calendar is full 9 o'clock in the morning till about 7 at night, 5 days a week. MRT and anger management and stay and quit and all those things. So if we can direct them into positive, I don't want to oversell it, but productive means.
While they're there,
and
they
that's
got to
all
be doing
we do.
something.
Right, and so at the same time, we are doing, it's an old classification tree, is what they call it in the Department of Justice. We're doing a classification tree to see where they fit best. Could be behavior, could be cognitive, it could be just ability.
I hate acronyms. What does MRT stand for?
Moral recognition therapy. Don't look up the word recognition, it's made up. Yeah. It's recognizing, and it's really recognizing where you went wrong. This was my misstep. I want to go back there and address it.
So I see a lot of good, positive things that can come out of this to get somebody who's obviously been on the wrong path onto the right path while they're in your custody. Is there any negatives that you can see, and perhaps this is a question for the law director, with, for lack of a better term, placing a label on somebody that may or not have been adjudicated or anything? Does anything follow them or anything like that? Is that?
This assessment's going to go into their TDOC file. We have tons of those anyway. We place labels on every inmate that comes in.
Okay.
I mean, so we just broadly brush it. You're convicted, you're not. You're a misdemeanor, you're a felon, you're a male.
You already got something on you.
Yeah, we already do. I don't offer too much information, but I'll say this. In the future, I believe this will help us with our income related to state prisoners. TCI has a tier 1 level that we can achieve with this, and that's about a 12% increase per inmate per day. And so
this is going to be my other comment. We produce revenue off of this, so we're helping the state, they help us.
Right, so let's say that this year, if we bill the state for $2 million for bill, with this in place and tier 1 in place, it might be 2.2 or 2.3.
It helps us in standing with them to implement this.
Well, yeah, we do have a contract with them. We need to try to play ball because they're going to leave their prisons with us regardless. Right. At least we get paid more because
the state might us do this.
Yes.
Okay.
I really do appreciate just how handy you are with this. Appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Anybody have comments?
How many inmates got saved, baptized the other day?
We think about 170. It could have been 150 or 180. I don't have the count in front of me, but Channel 5 will have it on the news tonight running on the news. So.
What?
That is absolutely awesome. Thank you, sir.
I got to ask, why'd you ask that question, and how does that relate to this?
It doesn't
very
relate,
interesting.
But
well, it is part of our program.
It is the recovery that they.
yes.
Wow.
They allowed baptisms and everything.
I didn't hear about this.
Pretty awesome.
We actually,
It's good stuff.
yes, I say we. The sheriff's office does not want people to come back. We want people to be a productive member of society. And that's all we can hope for, is try to guide them in that direction, correct?
Yeah, a lot of people are going to stumble again, but that's not my job. My job is to give them the resources, tools they need.
While we're on it too, Nick Barrett did report, and I'll tell you what, I mean, my preacher used to say about the monster fire at Wicks, but I mean, it was amazing some of the folks they were talking to, and just, I mean, I was tearing up, just what, it was very, very moving.
Nick was very invested in that, asked us if he could come by, and so, of course, we said, sure, I'll meet people write good stories about jails.
Good stuff.
All right,
Appreciate it.
anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Excellent question. All right, well, brings back into session and close that up. So I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, entertain a motion for that. I just want to make sure I got it. Second. Okay, so anybody want to, we could discuss it. Anybody got anything they would like?
What's the intent? I mean, Millersville's, I guess I'm kind of lost on where this is headed. Millersville's making the repairs. Do we know when they're going to make the repairs, or will it be July's budget, or?
The concern the last time this was discussed was this kind of now is bifurcated. So we understand we don't have anything to do with the build out or any of that stuff now. Now the concern was in case this committee wanted to address any kind of personnel related issues that might want to be addressed with the city, such as do we need some sort of lease with them for a duration that will be there at a minimum stay, because the big concern came up was we could just be there 30 days and out of the building after that if we wanted to try and open up some sort of negotiation to solidify how long we at least at a minimum be able to use the space. So that's the only purpose of this being on here for discussion, is that came out of another committee.
So just like I said in the chambers, I'm getting last month, I guess it was. I think we're getting on a slippery slope. Of course, we can go whichever way we want to go. But I don't want to see us starting something in Millersville by issuing an agreement that we'll be here 6 months, 90 days, or whatever for this number of price, or however it shakes out. Because I don't think that I'm aware of but one other city in the county that we have an agreement with to be able to use their facilities. So, having said that, I don't know what kind of standing relationship we would have with Big Station, with Hendersonville. I don't know.
Well, and that's well within y'all's purview, is to say this is not worth pursuing. All the reason it's on here is after the commission discussion and the fact that it was really two separate issues. Really only one got addressed, so if you all decide it's not something to pursue, then it's not something to pursue.
Just didn't want to not bring it up, just so it can be discussed, whatever it is, whatever the answer is.
Are you done? Sure. I agree with Commissioner Rogers. Even if it is something for this committee, it's not for this committee now. And there's no MOU, Millersville doesn't have a plan going forward. There's really nothing to discuss yet as far as our agreement with them on how we would do things. We already have an agreement with how we operate in different cities' jurisdictions, but like Robertson County versus, I'm talking about like Robertson, Sumner, the call center and stuff like that, and how we operate between those. We have a thing we revisit every 2 years. But as far as this, it's about living space and things like that, and kind of up in there with that right now. I don't think that's something this committee should even discuss. I think it's going to be for another committee at another time, maybe. So,
well,
I'm okay with it.
Sorry if I can, Mr. Chairman, I'm running on in debate, but it's probably something we need to discuss. Because there is a CTAS opinion out there on it. However, I would recommend that we have all the players in the room so everybody hears the same discussion. And we don't go through 11 different municipalities or 9 municipalities and then one getting mad. We have one municipality's trucks, ambulance service, sit on the side of the road because that fire chief didn't want them in their house. That's what I'm scared we're going to get to if we're not careful. We may not. I hope we don't. I hope our agreements and cooperation with the city and understanding with the municipalities around the county stands true and stands strong like it has. But as far as I'm aware of, there's only one municipality in this county that we have an agreement with that we can use their firehouse.
I appreciate it. I'm kind of posing a question because I don't know for sure the answer, but I haven't heard, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I haven't heard any other discussion about somebody being unhappy that EMS is in that. So I
just don't want.
No.
I don't want the perception that, well, if they're going to offer Millersville something, then we can get it too. That's what I'm scared of. I'm scared of getting on the slippery slope of, well, if they're gonna pay Millersville a penny, then they owe us 5, because they're in 3 of our houses, or 2 houses, or whatever. That's the slope I'm warning us about. I think if we're gonna look at something, entering into something with Millersville, that we do our due diligence, call the respectable mayors, call the fire chiefs in, and say, hey, we understand we use your house, we're looking at this issue with Millersville, how can we all come together and settle this together?
Okay, I'm gonna let you speak first. I think I have a question.
Well, I was gonna ask if you were gonna put that in the form of a motion, or do we just need to drop the conversation and not talk about it?
This is not for, I mean, this is.
Because I'll make a motion
if we decide to go forward with this, then all municipalities of the county needs to be brought in the same room, and fire chiefs. Second.
Okay, so this is my question, and,
You got a motion in a second,
yeah.
keep you on.
Yeah, we need to vote on it first, or just?
No, you can discuss.
So my question about that is, okay, the discussion is if we can still use it, because I don't know this, are we paying to use these other properties?
No.
Does anyone get upset because we're using them?
We are providing a service to those cities.
That's what my point is.
They will get upset if their utility room door is left open.
Well, I get it, but what I'm saying is that's what my
But
point
as
is.
far as landlord tenant upset, not problem.
It's helpful to the citizens, and so I think that if Millersville didn't, I'm just saying if that were the case, I mean, like, I'm just saying if I had to say so of I like EMS being close by, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying, just in general terms. I think that's why that most people haven't been upset that they've been there. We've had a real issue with Millersville, and I don't want to get into that, but that's the one that's been kind of the spotlight on, just because of, you know, there's been a big issue. But ultimately, I think it's because, you know, EMS brings such a great service to all parts of the county, no matter where they are. I'm just speaking general. I mean, just like not in a politically motivated or charged kind of way. I'm just saying that's my thought. Just, you know, I mean, if that's the case, I think that it would just be an easy question of saying, hey, can we get an agreement? Is it okay if they still stay there? As opposed to, hey, can we pay for this?
I understand that, and maybe I misstated my statement. I'm just trying to be proactive and get in front of the ball or narrative or whatever word that needs to go there. I just think we need to tread cautiously before we make any kind of agreement that changes what we've done in the past.
Sure.
I want to make sure that we don't go to Millersville and saying, hey, we'll fix your doors for $7,000 and your roof for $12,000, and then we're $45,000 in. I'm just making up numbers and stories.
Oh, yeah.
And then, well, we didn't do that for all the other 6 or 7 municipalities in the county. Then we, the county, get caught in the middle of a battle that never was ours to begin with.
Well, I'm going to call Mr. Harris first, but I got some of that.
I honestly don't believe you're going to have any problems.
No.
At all. I think they would be foolish, I think, to kick us out of that building. Gallatin has a good working relationship with the EMS. Hendersonville does. Portland does. I don't think you're going to have any problem at all. I think they want them there. They haven't told me that, but from what I see from the other departments and working at Gallatin as long as I did, working with the ambulance service, they want those folks there. They work hand in hand on every call. So they would be foolish, I think, not to want them in Millersville.
I believe so too, and that's what I thought was the appropriate thing just to discuss. Is like, okay, because you know it's kind of seemed like they haven't had a place to go in Millersville, and just in an attempt to help the people of Millersville and that area, the fire department, is just to say, hey, can we make sure our EMS guys are taken care of and not kicked out? That's all. I mean, yeah, we could go through and talk to everybody, but I don't think that's the issue. I think it's just, hey, can we make sure they don't get kicked out? I don't, you know, because they're already.
That's why I'm trying to make sure it doesn't become a big
I don't think we need to.
I wouldn't grumble the apple cart, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. We're in the queue you first,
She was first.
you, and then, the attorney was. Okay,
Well, I
Barbara.
No, I was gonna give a cleaner way to wrap this up, so.
I hear you. So, Millersville has a code issue, so they gotta fix it anyway. They have to fix what's wrong. We don't have to fix it. We are there, we're in a trailer next to the building. They're living in a trailer, which is not the most best thing, but it's for the right reasons right now. Millersville, what I recall, was they said that they're not kicking anybody out. And I think you need to leave it be until they get things fixed. Bring the decision thoughts back to the table and talk about it then, because I think you're going around in circles about something that you can't do anything about right now anyway. Millersville is the key here. They have to fix what they have wrong, and then decide at that point, do you still want us to be there? It's up to them, it's not up to us, and I think until then, it's a new decision.
That's perfect.
I think we're all on the same page here. It's just about how to disband this. I was just gonna say, if they wanted to, retract their motion, I'd just say we take it off the agenda.
That's great, John.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I think everybody's on the same page.
If another committee, one thing I know for sure, it's not right for this committee. If another committee wants to take it up when it's appropriate, then so be it, but
It will not, if y'all get rid of it that way, it will never come up again until somebody puts it on as new business.
I'll withdraw it.
Yeah, all right, well, okay, well,
Make a motion.
then, I make a motion with
well,
adjourn.
absolutely. There it goes. That's all.